are.
Morning, everybody, and welcome to CEO Chat on RVN TV. Because it's Friday, because it's 10:30, it is time for a great conversation with a person that I know who has a great story to tell. My name is Al Cini.
I'm Joe Osamendi.
And you know what, Joe? We have a great guest here.
Okay.
His name is Gigi, and I'm not even going to try his last name. Real quick, Gigi. Just say it for us.
I'm going to try it.
I think you know it.
Kizhakkechethipuzha.
Okay.
And you know, Gigi's in my phone as Gigi, as he has been for the last 10 years.
Okay.
Gigi is a very experienced, highly talented business consultant. He knows an awful lot about what it takes to operate a business. And his company, Virtina, is a company that specializes in creating e-commerce solutions. And just in the few minutes we had before the program, what I learned is that if you think e-commerce is Amazon, going online, pointing, clicking, and getting a product, if you think it's just that, then you're really missing a huge opportunity in your business. Isn't that right?
That's absolutely right.
Okay, there's more to it than that.
There's a lot more to it. And so if you think about e-commerce as just going to online and buying something and getting it delivered to you, yeah, that is true, right? Therefore, if you're a small business, and that is very true. But the bigger you are, the bigger brand you are, the more B2B you are, e-commerce becomes not e-commerce for you.
Okay.
E-commerce becomes something much larger.
Much larger. E-commerce is not e-commerce for you, right? So then what is it, right? Let's look at this way. I'm going to give you about 5 different points, right?
Okay.
Agree or disagree with me?
Okay.
E-commerce is most closest to your revenue.
Right.
After all,
Right?
it's your cash flow.
It's your cash flow. And e-commerce, if done correctly, using automation, you can automate a lot of your business process and keep your cost of operations down.
So it's top line driving and bottom line driving.
That's correct.
That's very important. And that's e-commerce. Not just point and click and I want to buy a pair of socks.
Let's
There's
come
more
to
to it
second.
than that.
Let's
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
And then third one, if done correctly, today you can connect lot of different systems into the e-commerce, into that platform. It must connect. Your sales department doesn't sit in vacuum, right? It has to connect your production, it has to connect your accounting, your partners, your vendors, all of the above.
Right.
All tentacles of your business.
Right. It's a connected world that you're running.
Right. Okay.
So it's connected systems. Right. Now I'm going to give you one most important point.
Okay.
Any business, one more thing, it is connected to your customers, right?
Oh, it's customer facing.
And wherever they are, right? That's omni-channel customer experience.
Okay.
Now I'm going to give you the most important thing.
Okay.
Take any business. There are 5 types of people in any business: customers, prospects, employees, partners, and investors.
Right.
Okay.
Every business.
Every business, right?
Okay.
And after 25 years of the business of technology, I couldn't find a platform that can meet every one of these people's objectives.
That could touch all 5 of those bases.
Right. And all of them are distinct objective also.
Right.
And if done correctly, e-commerce can meet every one of their objectives.
Wow. Wow. Well,
Is that e-commerce? It's much beyond e-commerce.
Absolutely.
and e-commerce is sort of like the shorthand we use to identify just the tip of the iceberg, which is clicking on an order, swiping the credit card.
Yeah.
It goes much deeper than that.
Yeah.
You can take advantage of all those opportunities by working with a company like Virtina,
Yeah.
which is your company and why you built it. This
That
is
is
why
correct.
you built the company.
That's correct. We didn't start with this knowledge, right? We started with I'm a nerd and a geek and a problem solver first.
Okay.
Right. Then business, sales, and marketing all come second and third. Now I started doing this because with my thick accent, I should be able to sit in front of you and convince you that you should work with me. And I have to tell a great story to captivate and capture your attention.
Okay.
And there is no better story than a story of revenue and profit and customer experience. That's the best story I could tell.
Right.
That is e-commerce. That's where I started. So we started doing this over and over again. We have served about 930 some clients since mid 2016.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
We are certified in 10 e-commerce platforms. And by doing this over and over again, we started seeing something else bigger than e-commerce.
It's much bigger than
It's
much
much
bigger
bigger
than what people think it is.
That is correct.
And see this. I've known you for a long time. I mean, we're both old guys. We can understand what a long time means. I've known Gigi for a long time. He's a very competent, very astute business consultant. So you've really been in the e-commerce business even since before it was called e-commerce. It's always been about building efficient information systems that support the business.
That's correct.
That's what you do, and that's what Virtina does.
Yes.
Now we have a kind of an umbrella, we put that all under called e-commerce.
Right.
I'm making that point because there are people out there who watch the program who might own a 20 or 30 or $100 million company. Those are kind of the sweet spot client for you.
That is correct.
Okay.
Now, I want to add one more thing to this. Very important. This is very relevant at this point of time. About 4 weeks back, McKinsey came out with a survey. Right? They surveyed CEOs. I think about 76% of the CEOs said that number one top of the mind thing right now, it's speed of execution.
Right.
Right?
Speed of execution.
Speed of execution.
Got it.
No,
Okay.
no company has today 10 months to build something and put it out there.
Right.
So today, e-commerce is using some sort of a low-coding technology, right? It's a plug and play and configuration, customize something and put something out there.
Right.
So therefore, if you think about e-commerce as a platform to deliver customer-facing solutions that can connect your internal other systems, most closest to your revenue and profit, that can be built fast.
Oh, okay.
That's
Got it.
what makes it more relevant today.
Right,
Okay,
especially with the pandemic.
so a point of Virtina is that if you can get from the problem to the solution, because you specialize in this, it's not going to take a year to get where you want to get.
That's correct.
We're going to get you there much more quickly because we've done this so many times before.
Yeah.
We know where to start. We know what the middle of it looks like. We know what the end of it is going to look like.
I can give you an example if you
Yeah,
would
please
like.
do.
Absolutely.
Right? So right now we are working with the world's largest retail chain.
Okay.
Okay.
3,400 physical stores and 5,000 some merchants. It's a marketplace.
Right.
And 15 different warehouses throughout the country.
Right.
Okay.
And we were in bid with one of the biggest consulting firm in the world. The consulting firm quoted 9 months to build a small, tiny bit piece of this project. We are doing it in 2.5 months.
Really?
In 2.5 months.
In 2.5 months.
That if time is money, then a company in that sweet spot size we talked about has just saved a lot of money working with you.
Yeah.
That's so critical.
Now, how did you accomplish that in 2.5 months?
The reason is, number one, our expertise. We have been doing 900 projects in the last mid of 2016. That makes us really efficient. It's a process. There are certain processes I'll tell you about. How do you make sure that it's successful, right? Fast successful.
Right.
And what we built over the course of time is we have a framework that we have. That's
Okay.
the framework we apply in our when we think about our customer business.
Right.
Sitting on the top of the framework, we built 2 different kind of processes: a development design methodology, build methodology. Depending upon the client's nature and other factors, we will offer one of them.
Wow.
And either one, it's a very buttoned down process,
Right.
very methodological. So using that, it's a manufacturing factory mentality when we take
Right.
when we do the software engineering.
Right.
So what we say is there's a PowerPoint slide. We say that we started as a software engineering company, then we become an e-commerce engineering company. Today, we call it ourselves an e-commerce holistic optimization company.
Right.
What that means is, whatever we do, we have a mentality of we have to do it in an optimized manner.
Okay.
Okay.
Right? Plus, we can optimize the sites too. But
Well-
more importantly, when we get engaged, we have to do it in an optimized manner.
Wow. So you hit a home run for a client because when you start, you're already on third base. That's the important thing. We know how to score that run. We're already in the game. So in 2.5 months, understanding e-commerce now to be what it really is, it's not just about finding the product, paying for it, having it shipped to you. You got to know where the product is stored. You got to know the closest, most efficient delivery mechanism to get it from where it is to where it needs to be. All that decision making is done by systems that you help companies build.
That's correct.
So it's soup to nuts. It touches every aspect. I may not even have to change out my cash registers if I have them. I might not have to change any of my equipment out.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of systems integration among the various
Right, there you
different
go.
systems that I'm using that are not talking to each other.
Yes.
If I can just get them to talk to each other, I become Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on my
Theoretically
way.
speaking, yeah.
Because that's really what Amazon is.
Right, exactly.
That's what Amazon is. Everything they do from the beginning to the end is
Yep.
all integrated with everything else. That's what makes it work so well.
Amazon's number one thing, one point that made Amazon successful. Just one thing, convenience.
Sure.
Really, convenience. That was it.
Convenience to the vendors, convenience to the buyer. Right?
Yeah.
So nowadays, I'm coming back to that convenienceification, excuse my word,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And whether you are a B2B or B2C, that is what going to make it success. Whether that's going to decide your future,
That's what
future of your
you-
company. Then secondly, how fast you go to the market, how fast you react to the market, because market is changing so fast,
Right.
right? And that's also second. If you understand these two elements, you got to have these
Right.
two in your company.
And what I'm understanding from your how you work is you take a process, take out all the variables, so that you're going to get the best outcome. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's it.
And then using the proven methodologies that we put together.
Right.
Right.
Okay, now I'm thinking about a couple of CIOs, CEOs that I know, and what their biggest headache is. Their biggest headache is they come in, they sit down at their desk, problems come up, they never get to the root cause of any of them because nobody knows where the inventory is, nobody knows how much they charge for anything, the catalog doesn't have consistent coding in it, so we're not even sure what it is we're selling out there, and they can't get one screen that just tells them on that screen, where are my problems and what am I doing about them, which is really what they're looking for. You can solve that problem.
Absolutely.
That is such a, I mean, for a, I'm not going to mention
Problems
names.
can be solved. Solving problem, 99% of the problems that you can see or you can articulate can be solved one way or another. The question I ask my clients is how badly you want it.
Okay.
Right? That's the question. Right? And having a thorough understanding of the problems, that's where it starts. Then figuring out what's the optimal solution. Because nowadays, what really is, for one problem, there can be multiple solutions.
Right.
Got it.
So you got to figure out what's the optimal solution is. Right? That's also plays into it.
Okay, now I'm thinking obviously manufacturing, distribution, retail sales, wholesale sales.
Yes.
These are all organizations that could work with you.
Absolutely.
There may be others. We need to take a break. When we come back after the break, though, I want you to give me the complete list of all the people you can help and how you do it.
Great.
So we'll be right back. This is such an important life's blood subject for so many companies, and we're talking to the expert, Gigi, whose last name I can't pronounce, but it's there on your screen. We'll be right back after these messages with more CEO chat.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Plus this equals this, plus this, and this. Don't drink and drive.
Listen, what will make your event simply beautiful? Is it your attire, your decorations, your entertainment? Well, join me, Alicia Simone, as I chat with some amazing vendors and clientele who will share their stories and images and their experiences. Right here on RVN TV, Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. and Wednesday at 4 p.m. It will be simply beautiful. See you then.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Okay.
We're back.
Welcome. We are back with CEO Chat here on RVN TV. Joe Asamendi.
And Alcini.
What a pleasure. Of course,
Pleasure. Absolutely.
always wonderful working with you.
Absolutely.
Gigi, what a resource. We're so lucky to
Yeah.
have this guy. And we were talking during the break, and you said something amazing to me. What percentage of e-commerce initiatives fail?
Okay, if you just open up your laptop right now, just type in this e-commerce project failure.
Seriously? And I'll get back.
So you will see 80%, but keep reading it. You will say up to 97% of e-commerce projects fail.
They just fail. And you said they fail. The interesting thing is they fail because they're delegated to the wrong part of the company to solve.
Now, before that, you may come and argue that,
Yeah.
Gigi, there's a lot of e-commerce entrepreneurs comes and goes.
Right.
Do a little more further, deeper research. You will see that 95% of e-commerce projects fail.
Why
That's
do they?
B2B. B2B project, right?
B2B
What's
project.
major reason why they
Yeah.
fail?
There are we identified about top 10 reasons.
Okay.
I can go through one or two.
Okay, please
One
do.
is e-commerce, just another website. Is
It's
it
just a
based
website
on
thing.
based on what we just discussed? Is
Right.
it just another website?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The second bigger factor. This is untold. Nobody wants to talk about it. Right. This is the
Right.
elephant in the room. So, let me give you an analogy. E-commerce today, any business today, unlike Formula One, it is like a car rally.
Okay.
The difference is Formula One race. It is you can clear route, and clear tracks and then good visibility.
Sure.
Car rally, forget about
Dirty,
it. Right?
messy, all over the place.
You can see ahead, right?
Yeah, right.
And that's the business of today. That's our personal lives also to an extent today.
Right.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And in order to win this race, you need three components. You need the greatest driving team. You need the right engine. You're not going to put your Ferrari
True.
on a car rally, right?
Right.
And you need the right pit crew, right?
Right.
So let's say, Joe, you own this car rally team, right?
Joe's always a good example.
Yeah.
Let's use Joe.
Would you trust your great marketing team to perform the engineering function?
Of course not.
No, right? But business today trust their marketing team to build the
their
e-commerce
e-commerce,
engineering.
to do their
How
e-commerce.
can that not fail?
Right.
Well, and
They're
boy,
really-
and it's not marketing's fault. Let's be
No, it's
fair
not.
here.
Yeah.
You're setting them up.
Yeah.
They can't succeed. They don't know enough about this.
Because a serious e-commerce build is a complex, user-centered software engineering problem.
Right.
Where multiple parties comes together, multiple systems comes together to enable that.
Right.
That's an engineering problem. It has to be dealt with with an engineering mentality.
Right.
Which means you could really be penny wise and pound foolish here if you're not careful.
That's
If you take a simplistic approach to solving this problem and just give it to somebody in your company that you think because they run your website they can do your e-commerce.
Yeah.
You know, if you give it to your webmaster, for example, it'll never get done. Or if it does get done, it's going to get done 2 years from now, and it's probably not going to be right. You get this done in months. So a company calls you. And let's talk about that process,
Yeah.
because what is an engagement with Virtina like?
So there are two kinds of companies that we work with from a client needs basis, right?
Yeah.
One type of client, they come and say, guys, I want to do this X, whatever that X may be. An example, recently we did the Staples
Staples.
and Snapchat. Snapchat employees want to buy from Staples from promotional site without logging in or using credit cards. So it's
Okay.
a single sign-on integration with the Staples and Snapchat. We made that happen. In that instance, Staples knew what exactly needs to happen, but they didn't know. They couldn't find a company they can trust to do this.
Right. Okay.
So we did that.
Okay.
Great.
Great example.
The other type of companies that comes to us is they are plateaued. They could be $500,000 company. By the way, we don't discriminate against money, project size, revenue, none
Doesn't
of that.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you come to us with a problem, we fix it.
We fix it, right?
Okay.
So the other type of companies, they plateaued at some level, right? And they are stuck. And they come and say, I have been operating for the last 25 years in business. I have this sucky e-commerce site. My clients are demanding this, or my internal team I have inefficiencies. How do we solve it? From there, we sit down with the client. We have a specific methodology that we approach in our discovery call. We kind of break their business apart into 4 buckets and tell us what's the wish list, pain points, and objective of these 4.
Right.
Then that turns into a 200-some page survey, a master survey we customize, and we customize the survey to your business. Then we take the survey first.
Wow.
Okay.
To demonstrate our understanding, and we are adding our experience in working in other industry or your competitors to that, right?
I got
and
it.
ask the right question. Then we submit the survey to you and say, Mr. Client, it's going to take you about 45 minutes to 1 hour. And please take the survey. If you need any questions, we are here to help. Then that survey comes back. We would have one more call to finalize.
Okay.
Then that turns into a roadmap, a roadmap to requirement specification, and then design,
And now we
prototyping,
can start building it.
all of that. That's one method. The other is, there are other type of clients, they don't want to go through this planning process.
Right.
They are more of an agile methodology.
Right,
They
right,
want
right,
to see
right.
it.
They wanna
From
get it
there,
done.
we go with little light on, we have the survey, we go light on the requirement specification, all of that. After the survey, we put together a next 2 weeks of solution. What are we going to do it in next 2 weeks?
Okay.
We agree to the client, we do that in next 2 weeks. From there on, there's a 1 week sprint. Every week we are producing something tangible, deliverables to see the client. So
every
it's an
week,
agile.
week after week, I've got more stuff online than I did the prior week.
Yeah.
Gradually, the problem goes away because you pick away at it one bite at a time.
Yeah.
So I don't have to wait however long I'd normally have to wait to get one result. I'm actually seeing benefits from it almost immediately.
Immediately.
That is critical. How do you work with the CIO, Chief Information Officer?
The CEO, most of the time we work with the CMO. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
The natural inclination to assign the e-commerce project falls naturally into the marketing department.
Right,
And
right.
CIO become an enabler, right? For technology or other integrations. He become a
Okay.
doorway, his team become a doorway to connect with, hey, I have a ERP system, how do you integrate it? Make that happen. Here are the access rights, or here is the API. That's where the CIO comes in.
That's where the CIO
comes in. Or CTO comes in.
Okay.
But this more of the project champion. Typically, most of the time it falls into the CMO side.
CMO side. But the important point here is that they already have an existing IT infrastructure. You will work with that. You will not replace it.
That's correct.
So it's
That's
not like I'm
absolutely
throwing out all the
No.
equipment I've got or redoing my data center or any of that. I'm taking what I have and integrating it more effectively.
It is
That's
a
what you do.
connector. With the least disruption, we have to enable the business to meet their customers' demands.
Wow. And where do you do the work? I know you've got a team offshore and you've got a team here in the U.S.
Yes.
How do you do that?
We have a team here.
Yep.
A small team here, project management and marketing, sales done from
The
here.
customer-facing part of
Yes,
things.
and
Okay.
all the rest of the development is done in India.
In India.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
you have
It
a
is-
development team there.
Yeah, it is my own center, Virtina India Private Limited.
Oh, great. Okay.
And we are right now about 35 plus employees.
Wow.
Wow, okay.
And we are certified in 10 e-commerce platforms.
Uh-huh.
And we are one of the 5 technology service providers listed on e-commerce innovation lab, run by trade.gov,
Wow.
owned by US Department of Commerce.
Oh, good.
So one of our jobs here on CEO Chat is to make sure that you're no longer the best kept secret in systems integration.
Right.
We want to make sure people know about what you do because I think it's a great opportunity for people who fall in that spot that we talked about.
One of the things you mentioned I think is interesting is that you're not going to completely change a company. So a company probably should have a good quality management system to start with. Is that correct?
Not really. We have worked with companies where we are a client, say, maybe like $8 million distributor. He bought a small company, and it was a completely mess, right?
Okay.
They had a sucky e-commerce, they had really bad e-commerce system. There's no lot of manual processes. It was really a havoc,
Yeah.
So we got in, we start. Again, e-commerce is not e-commerce, right?
Yeah,
So we
right.
started looking at what's going on in the back end, right?
Uh-huh.
We kind of brought orders, systems, and we start automating, connect all that into the latest e-commerce platform. Then we developed that. So,
Okay.
Okay.
And client
Okay.
is still a client. It has been a client with us for about 3.5 years now.
Oh,
Wow.
right.
So when you go into a company and you find a lot of poorly operated manual processes that depend on people that have been there for 35 years because they know how things are done, you've begun to find the cause of the problem, which is these different systems that you have are all solving individual problems, but collectively, they're not e-commerce. They need to be made into an e-commerce system by integrating them.
Right.
I think that is such a powerful story. It's such a great. You like doing this? Is this fun for you?
I love it. I've been in the industry for about 25 years, 25
Yeah.
years of technology business, right? On my own, Comcast was my first client. I borrowed $5,000 from Comcast to register my company.
Okay.
Right? And then I was a custom software developer. And in custom software developer, what we found is just everybody pretends to be everything in custom software development, right? And then, like I mentioned, the reason I started focusing on e-commerce for my own selfish reason, meaning to solve my own inability. I have a thick accent, and I'm a nerd and a geek first, right? And in order for me to sell as an entrepreneur, I got to sell. So I had to have a captivating story. I should be telling a captivating and capturing story fast. And the story of revenue and profit, that's the best. And customer experience. Here's the story. I can speak in Russian right now. You will understand the money if I showed you.
Well, so if you want to provide a better experience for your employees, your customers, your shareholders, your executive leadership team, you want to make more money yourself, which is really the goal of all this. You cut costs and improve your top line by building an e-commerce system.
Fast.
Get it up and running. And that's what Virtina does.
Exactly. You got
better than
Thank
anybody.
You. Can I hire you?
You're sure. As a matter of fact, I am for sale. Cheap. Funny you should mention. Absolutely. But no, I think that really is why it's just so great having you on the program. Now, I know you've got a lot of background, and you and I originally connected on the whole idea of technology because we both have kind of a passion for it. How do you tell us a little bit about Gigi? How did you get where you are, real quick? Then after that, you can tell everybody how to reach you.
A lot of failure.
Really?
A lot of failures. I call it attention deficit in high def. Right?
By the way, he was looking at you when he was saying that, Joe. Not me. But I totally relate to everything he said. Go on.
Okay. So my career is about 25 years in corporate. I've worked in small companies where I was the IT department. And then I worked in companies as big as Comcast, Lockheed Martin, Pfizer, so anything in between. From a software developer to CIO, that was my career path. And then I had always this entrepreneurial itch, right? 2010, I lost my job as a CIO because of an acquisition. Told my wife, that's it, I got to do my own thing. The rug was removed underneath my carpet, underneath my foot, and then started doing e-commerce. First, I bought a company in India, five employees, grew that to about 73 employees in about 4.5 years. That's when we met.
That's when we met.
Right?
Right.
Didn't make money.
Yeah.
And I had about up to 6 or 7 startups running at the same time. And 2016 comes along, 2011, 2012, about 4 years later, my wife called me and said, got to go back to work.
Yeah, I know. I get that call from my wife every couple hours.
Fun is enough. So when I look at my bank balance, it's almost nothing, and my employee pool is growing, but no money. And there are a couple issues in my company, right?
Well,
and first of all, there's no focus.
Right.
Okay.
Second, the sales angle, right? And then I said, let me solve that first focus. Let me solve the first problem, this focus issue, right? And I looked at that time I had a partnership with another company, another gentleman. We used to run a Virtina together. Virtina was one of the 30-some certified partners to one e-commerce platform. So he lost interest in that. I said, let me have Virtina. And then I started seeing the lights, meaning I can tell the story of the revenue and customer experience and the profit using my technical background. I can do it fast.
Well,
I went from 73 to about 25 employees over the course of 9 months, reorganized it. Then we started growing back.
Now you're going back and focused on this.
Focused on e-commerce.
Right.
We started as an e-commerce development company, and we mastered that art. Then we became we added e-commerce designing, right? So it's a baby step we took, right? Now we understand more. Then we added e-commerce strategy to our arsenal.
Right.
Now today we offer about 9 different services, 9 or 10 different services under e-commerce umbrella, either as a one package or as piecemeal.
So you built a good foundation, really.
It's a great foundation.
Absolutely.
And we're at the end of our program, which again, it's one of the fastest half hours on television. A lot of information that we covered here leads us all to how does somebody reach you, Gigi? How do they find out more about Virtina? Look into your camera, just tell everybody how to get a hold of it.
Please visit us on virtina.com, and my email address is just a letter g@virtina.com. One letter.
Just one letter.
Just one letter.
G@virtina.com.
Virtina.com.
Virtina.com.
Yep. And my phone number, if you want to directly reach me on my cell phone, I'm available to my clients and prospects all the time.
During the program, you got like 5 calls. We're already, it's like a telethon for Virtina.
Yeah. 484-994-9425 or 1-888-478-4799.
And what you do can be done for clients anywhere in the country, not just in the area.
Or outside.
Or outside the country, which
Worldwide.
you have
Yeah,
done.
worldwide.
Gigi, what a pleasure having you on the program. Thanks for coming on CEO Chat today. It was great. It was
Thank
exhausting.
you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you
meeting you, man.
Thank you so much.
welcome.
It was such a
Thank
pleasure.
you so much for the opportunity.
And now
Truly
I'm kind of
appreciate it.
tired. I think I need to go take a nap. That's how fast that went. That was, and thanks all of you for joining us today on CEO
Thank
Chat.
you.
We'll be back again next week with another CEO Chat. Till then, who are you?
I'm Joe Osmendi.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you, Al.
And I'm Al Cini, and have a great weekend and stay safe.
Be safe, sound. We'll see you next Friday.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.